You and I have both experienced that pain. You strive for your justice, and I strive for mine.
And what's going on, Read My Lips people? We are back. Back like we ain't never left, baby. So, good news. Good, great, wonderful news that I come bringing you. That sounded like I had an accent for a second. Where the heck did that come from? Okay. Jack Dorsey. The one and only Jack Dorsey. Jack Dorsey, Twitter Jack Dorsey, who, might I add, since almost seemingly the very beginning has been an Andrew Yang fan. He's always been on the appropriate side of the Andrew Yang bus. Let me just say that. To make a long story longer, Jack Dorsey is going to give $5 million to Andrew Yang for COVID-19 relief micro grants. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, what you just heard is true. So, a $5 million donation from Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey will go toward thousands of micro grants distributed by a COVID-19 relief program launched by former Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang's nonprofit Humanity Forward. Jack Dorsey announced his donation on an episode of Yang's podcast, Yang Speaks, and that was on Thursday. Dorsey's donation will go towards Humanity Forward's Direct Cash Assistance Program, providing $250 micro grants to nearly 20,000 people amid the COVID-19 pandemic. The billionaire CEO also announced his donation in a tweet Thursday. I'll probably have it on screen somewhere. $5 million to Humanity Forward to immediately distribute small cash grants of $250 to nearly 20,000 people who have lost their jobs or taken an economic hit as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. The donation is part of Dorsey's Start Small LLC, which is a $1 billion foundation he launched last month to support global COVID-19 relief efforts. Not only will Jack's donation directly impact tens of thousands of people in need during the current economic downturn, it will help Humanity Forward and our movement continue to make a case for universal basic income in the United States. And that's coming from Yang. We know UBI for every American is possible, and this $5 million from Start Small is going to help demonstrate what is possible for families across the country. Humanity Forward's Coronavirus Relief Fund plans to deliver both one-time and reoccurring basic income payments to individuals and families most impacted by the coronavirus crisis, and that's coming straight from Humanity Forward. So, wow, wonderful, amazing news, and once again, I probably sound like a broken record to you guys, but I'm going to keep saying it. Yang has done more for people after suspending his campaign than any other politician. If you just stop and think for a second. His whole run, even up till now, has been about what? Helping people. And he hasn't stopped. He hasn't stopped. And now he's got Jack. He's got Jack helping assist in this situation. And whenever somebody does something like this, again, whether it's Jeffree Star, whether it's H3H3, whether it's Mr. Beast, whomever, I always make a video and I praise them for it because that's not their responsibility. They're often doing the job that the government should be doing. The government should be taking care of people right now. Instead, they're going to throw them to the wolves. I did read something, it was yesterday or the day before, where Trump was like, look, I know there's going to be a reflare. And that's just part of the deal. That's just going to happen. And thousands of people will die, but I'm not going to shut this country back down, regardless. He's well aware people will die. People are going to die because the workforce is going to be moving again. And he's aware that thousands of people will die, more so than if it was shut down. And he said, I'm not going to shut it back down. And people are, not only is he going to not shut it back down, but he's not going to give people any more relief. He's not going to help them out at all. He's not going to extend, I think they were just talking about it, he's not going to extend unemployment. Pretty much by next month, he expects everything to just be moving on ahead as if nothing happened. Mind you, be ready for a large-scale eviction wave. I was just talking to someone on my Twitter, and if you're not following me on Twitter yet, follow me at TheRealBCereus. I love talking to everybody about politics and what's going on, and we can delve a little deeper than we can me just talking to the camera on YouTube. But people had reached out to me, and if I can find the tweet, I'll put it, that, you know, they're about to be evicted. Like, the landlords are, like, salivating, waiting to evict them next month. So, when this is going on, I love it. And, you know, I can't say I agree with everything Twitter does, but this is a good move on Jack's part. This is a good move, and I dig it. And like I said, most of what I've seen from Jack is praise and admiration for Andrew Yang. I feel like they connect. I feel like there's a connection between the two of them. I feel like they probably, and if you haven't seen Yang Speaks, if you haven't heard the podcast Yang Speaks, make sure you listen to it, especially this one. They have a genuine connection on and off camera. And, yeah, this is dope. This is dope. I love this. So, I gave you guys some good news. And let me know in the comment section what you think. Let me know what you think about what Jack's doing. I think it's amazing. But since I've brought you some good news, I got to bring you a little bit of bad. But it's something that I think most of you watching my channel already knew. And look, I had put it on Facebook that there were a bunch of companies that are shutting down. Listen, most of the people on my Facebook aren't really into politics. So they don't really get it. It's vastly different from my Twitter. Vastly. But when I say places are shutting down, I don't mean tomorrow. Like I had put it, like a lot of these places are going to shut down. 10 years and 10 weeks is what we're facing. And they were like, they're going to open tomorrow. Yeah, I know they're going to open. Connecticut's opening back up. But I mean, within the very near future, within the next year, possibly two, they're going to be gone. The companies themselves are announcing it. So, but Andrew Yang warns 42% of lost jobs won't return. Gone. Like a Thanos snap. And look, there's nothing we could have done to prevent it. I'm not Thanos. Yang's not Thanos.
I am not Thanos.
But, you know, they're gone. And that the economy is facing 2 times the Great Recession permanently. I actually have a video clip for you guys. Take a look.
Us now with more on the breaking news. CNN political commentator, former Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang. Andrew, it's great to see you. Sorry that it comes on a morning where we're getting more dire news about the economy, more first-time unemployment claims. Nearly 40 million now, 38.6 million people have filed first-time claims in the last 9 weeks. That's an enormous amount of suffering. What are you hearing?
Well, the suffering, unfortunately, is all too real. We're getting inundated with requests for help at my organization, Humanity Forward. I know nonprofits around the country are seeing the same thing. And we have to face fact that 42% of these jobs will not come back. You're looking at essentially long-standing or permanent job loss of 15 million plus. And for reference, the Great Recession cost us less than 9 million jobs. So you're looking at something almost 2 times the Great Recession permanently. This is one reason why I'm advocating that our federal government has to pass enormous stimulus measures to keep us from teetering into a new Great Depression, because that unfortunately is where we are heading right now.
And I know that connected to all of this, you have some big personal news you would like to announce on our program.
Yes, Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter and Square, has donated $5 million to my organization, Humanity Forward, that we're then going to turn around and give away to struggling Americans. We're going to give $250 to 20,000 Americans via our website, movehumanityforward.com. Unfortunately, we already have that number of requests and more, but the more money we take into our COVID relief fund, the more we will give out. And we are incredibly grateful to Jack for this $5 million because it will improve the immediate situation for literally thousands of Americans.
And many people right now, the only situation they have is the immediate one. They have to get through today and tomorrow. But there is a pressure point that I would like your opinion on, Andrew, which is that when we're talking about the enhanced unemployment benefits of $600, I know that's different than a universal basic income when you're talking about unemployment benefits. But there are people now arguing that that payment is so high that it's serving as a disincentive for people to go back into the workforce. A suggestion they can make more money on unemployment right now than they could be by trying to get a job again. So how do you address that?
Well, we need to get cash into people's hands. This is a crisis. But in my opinion, the cash would be better if it was unconditional. That way you have no incentive except to try and improve your own situation. And the reality, though, is if someone's looking for a job right now, this is going to be a very tough time, a tough environment to find a job. So anything we can do to help people is the right thing to do. But long term, we should be looking at different ways to get cash into people's hands unconditionally.
On that front, you tweeted something that I thought was so amusing yesterday. You said, "Remember when I seemed like a futurist? Those were the days." I mean, the fact that the federal government is doing something that people thought sounded radical when you suggested it.
Well, unfortunately, we're going through 10 years worth of change in 10 weeks. The trends I was concerned about people being sent home because their jobs were going to be automated away, we are experiencing a version of that. And I'm optimistic, at least, that we can accelerate some of the solutions as well as the problems, which includes putting money directly into Americans' hands. It's the only way we're going to help people get through this time. And I hope Congress moves more of the stimulus money towards direct cash relief rather than money to big companies.
If 42% of these jobs won't come back, Andrew, what happens to those people? Where do you think their future employment might lie?
If we don't do anything, their future is bleak. That's why we need a new Marshall Plan scale initiative to get millions of Americans back into the workforce, to rebuild the country. We should be hiring healthcare workers, people to literally rebuild the country in the form of a giant infrastructure plan, a mental health initiative, anything we can do to get people back to work, because we're in a deep, dark hole that will not resolve itself without some massive intervention, and that should be led by the federal government.
Andrew Yang, we appreciate your time. Nice to see.
All right, so let's get into this. So America's economy is teetering into a new Great Depression, Andrew Yang warned Thursday. He said the country is facing the prospect that nearly half of jobs lost during the coronavirus pandemic will not return. We have to face facts that 42% of these jobs will not come back. You're looking at essentially a long-standing or permanent job loss of 15 million plus. And for reference, the Great Recession cost us less than 9 million jobs. So you're looking at something almost 2 times the Great Recession permanently. And like I was saying, the unemployment rate as well is almost Great Depression numbers. This is big. This is big, okay? Yang was commenting on Labor Department employment figures released Thursday that around 2.4 million Americans filed new unemployment claims last week, which is the lowest we've seen, I believe, since the pandemic has hit. I think like the biggest was like 6 point something. And then it's been around 6 million, 5 million, 6 million, 5 million for a couple weeks. So 2.4 million is the lowest I've seen. And it's crazy that I say 2.4 million is the lowest, because before then, I think the most in a week was like 600K. All right. That figure brings the total number of unemployment claims filed since the coronavirus pandemic began to 38.6 million. Round that shit up. 40 million. 40 million. Unemployment is expected to reach around 20% by the end of May, compared to 25% during the Great Depression. That 20% number is actually higher. It's actually higher. It depends if you're looking at the U6, etc., but it's actually higher. Researchers from the University of Chicago's Becker Friedman Institute estimated that this month that 42% of jobs lost during the pandemic will not return due to a combination of companies going bankrupt and stagnant customer spending. So, those people that, they're probably not even watching this, but for the people that gave me pushback, this isn't a read my lips saying like, oh, these jobs are lost, that about the Marshalls and the Pier 1s and the Pennies and stuff. This isn't a read my lips prediction. This is just factual. And again, it's nobody watching. I don't think any of those people are actually watching this. But Yang's nonprofit, Humanity Forward, is spearheading an initiative to provide 20,000 microgrants worth $250 in direct cash assistance to individuals, which is exactly what I was just talking about. Yang prominently advocated for universal basic income programs during his campaign in the amount of $1,000 a month for working-age Americans. He added that the federal government needs to pass an enormous stimulant measure to prevent the economy from teetering into a new Great Depression. Unfortunately, we're going through 10 years worth of change in 10 weeks. What was I just saying? The trends I was concerned about, people being sent home because their jobs were going to be automated away, we are experiencing a version of that. I'm optimistic, at least, that we can accelerate some of these solutions as well as the problems. So, look, man, this is inarguable. This is one of the few times, because I'm always saying we can talk about it in the comment section. This is one of the few times this is inarguable. This is what it is. This is what it is. And we're just going to have to adjust to it, and we're going to have to realize that our government isn't going to do a damn thing for us. Trump isn't going to do anything for us. See, these situations is where I can't get on board with a Donald Trump. It's not his mean tweets. It's not his bucking against the reporters. It's nothing like that. Nothing like that. It's this stuff. It's policy, and it's not governing correctly. It's this stuff. This is where me and a Donald Trump don't see eye to eye. He could have man. The U.S. could have easily handled this. Easily. Instead, they dropped the ball. They dropped the ball and they went rolling down the street. Easily could have handled this much better than what they did. I want to say Yang's ahead of his time, but dude's just using common sense, really. So, a lot of jobs are gone permanently. And me personally, I know some small businesses that have shut their doors and aren't going to open again. They're racing. You guys probably can't hear that. They're like racing outside somewhere. Small businesses have closed and they're not opening back up. Done. Gone. Done. Boarded up. Nobody's going back to work. They've locked up shop. And it's sad. And it's sad because people have done a lot and worked hard to get these businesses up and running, only for something not in their control to come and just shut them the hell down. It's sad. So yeah, I just wanted to bring you that. And one more announcement. May 22nd, which is Friday, at around 9 a.m., what we're going to try to do is get trending hashtag Yang Gang for Congress. We're going to get that trending. So everyone watching this, participate. I've always said when we want to get something done, we can get it done. We can get something to trend when we're all on one accord. I have no doubt in my mind that's going to get trending, so please do so. This video is being recorded on the 21st. It's probably going to be uploaded on the 22nd, I'm guessing. So when you see this, if you haven't already done the hashtag, do so. So I'm going to close it off there. Jack, proud of you. Yang, proud of you. So, if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, please like, comment, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. If you don't, let me know in the comment section why. I'm always down to talk about it. I have a Cash App, a PayPal, and a Venmo link in the description below. Please feel free to donate to the channel. Every little bit helps. Hopefully, I'll be talking to you guys soon. Have a good one. Peace.
Locked and drank all night, acted all alright, had no need